We shall commence this module by discussing about the financial markets in brief. Each financial market is established to cater to the specific requirements of market participants. For instance, some may be willing to invest funds for a short time period, whereas others might be willing to invest for a long time period. Some might be ready to take up a high degree of risk, whereas others might need to avoid risk. Some participants that require funds prefer to borrow, whereas other prefers to issue stock. There are many different kinds of financial markets, and every market has its own maturity structure and trading structure of its securities. A capital market is basically a mechanism through which companies, people and government with a surplus of funds transfer those funds to companies, people and governments that are in need of funds. This transfer mechanism provides an efficient way for those who wish to borrow or lend money to do so. For example, every time someone borrows to purchase a car or a house, they are accessing the capital markets. Hence, capital markets execute the important function of directing the surplus capital to productive purposes. International capital market is that financial market where shares, debentures, bonds, currencies, hedge funds, mutual funds and other long-term securities are bought and sold. International capital market is the amalgamation of various countries' capital markets. They connect with each other through internet. Capital markets are the markets for buying and selling equity and debt instruments. Capital markets are significant for the smooth operation of an economy, since capital is a crucial element for the generation of economic output. Capital markets include primary markets where new stock and bonds are issued to investors, and secondary markets where existing securities are traded. Capital markets are regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission in the US or other respective financial regulator in other countries. A big amount of total transactions occur through the use of computerized electronic trading systems. Some of these can be accessed by the public and others are more tightly regulated. The size of a nation's economy directly affects the size of the capital market of that economy. The United States, the world's largest economy, has the biggest and the deepest capital markets. Since the capital markets transfer funds from the surplus units to the deficit units who require funds for productive purposes, they are critical to a smoothly functioning modern economy. After studying this module, you shall be able to know about the concept and structure of capital market, know about the advantages provided by the capital market, know about the gains from trading in the international capital market, and distinguish between the capital and the money market. Let us study the instruments or securities of the capital market. Securities bearing a maturity of more than 1 year are called capital market securities. Capital market securities are generally used to provide funds for the purchase of capital assets such as buildings, equipment or machinery. There are three types of major capital market securities which are mentioned below: bonds, mortgages and stocks. Bonds and mortgages. Bonds are the long-term debt securities issued by the government agencies and corporations to provide help in their operations. Mortgages, on the other hand, are the long-term debt obligations created to provide funds for the purchase of real estate. Bonds provide the investors a return in the form of interest income or coupon payments every 6 months. Since bonds and mortgages resemble debt, they mention the amount and timing of coupon and principal payments to investors who bought them. On maturity date, holders of the debt securities are paid the principal. Debt securities can be sold in the secondary market if investors do not want to hold them until maturity. Since the prices of debt securities can fluctuate over time, investors might enhance their return by selling the securities for a higher price than they paid for them. Some debt instruments are quite risky as the issuer could default on its obligation to repay the debt. Under these circumstances, the debt security will not provide the entire amount of coupon payments and principal that was promised. Usually, long-term debt instruments enjoy a higher expected return as compared to the money market securities, but they bear more risk. Also, stocks. Stocks or equity securities are certificates representing partial claim in the issuer's company. They are regarded as capital market securities as they have no maturity and therefore they serve as a long-term source of funds. Some corporations provide income to their shareholders by distributing a part of their quarterly earnings in the form of dividends. Others retain all the earnings for the reinvestment purposes if the firm sees potential opportunities in the future. Equity securities differ from debt securities in that they represent partial ownership. As corporations grow and increase in value, the value of stock increases and investors can earn a capital gain from selling the stock for a greater price than they paid for it. Thus, investors can earn a return from stocks as periodic dividends and a capital gain when they sell their stock. Investors can experience a negative return, however, if the performance of the corporation is not up to the expectations and its stock price declines over time as a result. Moving on to discuss the benefits provided by the capital market. First is efficient direction of capital to productive uses. Capital markets execute an important function of transferring funds from the surplus units to the deficit units. The deficit units then invest these funds into the capital formation activities, which in turn contribute towards the structural improvements for the country. When the surplus units invest, the cash or risk-free assets get converted into the risky assets. This will be done only when there is a promise of higher returns from these investments. investors usually prefer investing in shares, bonds and real estate. Second, direct as well as indirect finance. The example which we just used illustrates a form of direct finance. In the above case, the companies borrowed directly through the issuance of securities to the participants in the capital markets. On the other hand, indirect finance signifies that a financial institution works as an intermediate between the surplus and the deficit unit. For instance, if you deposit your funds in a savings account at a bank, then the bank lends the money to a company. The bank is an intermediary in this case. The role of the financial intermediaries is very significant to the smooth play of the capital markets. The third is promote efficiency and productive investment. Capital markets promote economic efficiency. Assume you want to invest $10,000 productively. Many companies may have great business ideas but no funds to carry them out. By transferring your funds to the corporation through the use of the capital markets, the funds get employed to their maximum extent. If no capital markets existed, you would have deposited this amount with a bank or kept it with you. In either case, these funds would not have reached the concerned company. Consequently, the corporation would probably have cancelled its business plans. Fourth, greater returns and reduced borrowing cost. Capital markets provide an efficient and low cost market to various governments, companies and even individuals. The domestic players can borrow from the international capital markets if they find it quite costly to borrow from the domestic markets. Fifth, diversification of risk. The international capital markets permits companies, governments and individuals to have access to more opportunities in various countries to borrow or invest, which in turn reduces the risk. The theory is that not all markets will experience contractions at the same moment of time. Next, we shall discuss about the gains from trade in international capital market. When two units, that is surplus and deficit, carry out a transaction, both can gain from this transaction as compared to the situation in which both the parties carried out transactions in their respective domains. A buyer and seller can trade first goods or services for other goods or services, second goods or services for assets, and third assets for assets. There are three types of international transactions. Residents of different countries can trade goods and services for other goods and services for assets, and assets for other assets. All three types of exchange lead to gain from trade. The theory of comparative advantage relates to the first kind of transaction, that is trading of goods and services for other goods and services. The theory of intertemporal trade describes the gain from trade of goods and services for assets, of goods and services today for claims to goods and services in the future, that is today's assets. Savers want to purchase assets and borrowers desire to use assets to consume or invest in more goods and services than they can buy with the current income. Savers get some return on their assets while borrowers can consume goods and services whenever the need be. The theory of portfolio diversification states the gain from trade of assets for assets, of assets with one type of risk with assets of another type of risk. Generally, people are risk averse. They would like to have a definite gain of wealth than invest in a risky asset. Diversifying or investing in uncorrelated assets can help the investors to eliminate or at least to some extent reduce the risk. Let us now understand the capital versus money market. People tend to confuse capital markets with money markets, though these two are very different in various important respects. Capital market differs from money markets in that they are exclusively used for long and medium term investments of a year or more. Money markets, in contrast, are limited to the trade of financial instruments with maturities not exceeding 1 year. Money markets also use different financial instruments than capital markets do, whereas capital markets use debt and equity securities, money markets use collateral loans, deposits, acceptances and bills of exchange. Since the capital market securities relate to the long term, investors buy those assets whose value is likely to appreciate so that the investor can make a capital gain by selling that asset at the right time. Firms often use them to raise long term capital. Money markets at the other end are usually used to generate smaller amount of capital or are simply used by firms as a temporary repository for funds. Through regularly engaging with money markets, governments and companies can maintain their desired level of liquidity on a regular basis. Moreover, because of their short-term nature, money markets are generally considered to be safer investments than those made on the equities market. Since the capital market is associated with long-term securities, there are more chances of experiencing a better or a worse performance due to the longer time frame. As such, debt and securities are generally considered to be riskier investments than those made on the money markets. Let us now summarize what we have learnt in this module. Since capital markets are predominantly interconnected in a globalized economy, ripples in one nook of the world can trigger significant quakes elsewhere. The flip side of this interconnection is accurately illustrated by the global credit crisis of 2007 and 9, which was engendered by the downfall of US mortgage-backed securities. The effect of this turmoil were globally transmitted by capital markets since banks and institutions in Europe and Asia held trillions of dollars of these securities. After evolution of computer and internet and revolution of financial market, almost all financial markets have now been converted in international capital markets. After globalization of financial sector, companies have to take certificate for dealing in international markets. Suppose Indian company wants to sell shares in France. For this, Indian company should take certificate named Global Depository Receipts or GDR. International capital market is very helpful for reducing the risk of small company because in international market you can buy different companies shares, debentures and mutual funds. Different nations have diverse and distinct business environment. So, if any country is facing loss and due to financial crisis, your investment in that country may suffer losses, but you can fulfill this loss from other countries' investment. So, overall risk will be reduced by this technique.